Good morning. We are at Temple Mountain State Reservation in New Hampshire. And I drove around for 3 hours this morning in circles before I found this place. Sort of. I went to Hooksett rest area and got cider donuts. Then I drove to King Ridge, which is an abandoned ski area in Sutton, New Hampshire, where there was no access. Drove to Mount Sunapee, decided that I didn't want to ski with crowds on the New Hampshire school vacation week, and decided to go by Granite Gorge, which was closed. It's just a ski area that's been closed for this winter. And now I'm here, another abandoned ski area, so this has been my, I guess you could say, 5th meaningful stop. Something like that, I don't know. It's been a lot of driving, but it's been fun driving around rural New Hampshire. And I'm here, I'm ready to go. I don't 100% know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna go west and then up some trails, so I'm just gonna explore around. We'll see. Not exactly what I expected, but I don't know. Came up this road, we're at a BB Trail junction. There's another trail, Wapak Trail, continues that way. Howdy. I don't know which way I'm going to go down, but I'm just going to go down. Can't be harder than Wachusett, right? Side path like you read about. Just Side Path City. It's a cool view. Sweet. Alright. My boots feel better. A little bit better. Got them molded yesterday, so don't need to complain about that anymore. This is sweet right here. So, this is Temple Mountain, which is an abandoned ski area. I don't remember what year this last was opened, but I'll do a history. We'll do a history lesson later. Right now, this is great. Look. Yeah, baby. Sweet. Oh, so worth it. So glad this worked out. 4th time's the charm. Nice. Got to savor this. I'm doing Map My Tracks iPhone app. Trail forks would just be confusing. We'd all be thinking about mountain biking, but Map My Tracks, good for kayaking. Might start using it for skiing. It's pretty good. Check it out. Yeah. All right, now is decision time. Let's not go back the way I came. Let's go back this way. A little tight here. Let's check it out. Yeah, nice tight little glade. Let's hit it. All right. Well, I would call this tree skiing. Wow, okay. This is definitely tree skiing. Just gonna follow the people that were here before me, I guess. Wow, this is a real glade experience though. This is funny. Thought I would just be on some open cut up areas. Gotta be careful here. This is so cool. I gotta take a photo. Let's see if we can make it the rest of the run. This little jump here. Not hitting that. I think I can see the parking lot. Blazing trails. There's the run. Can't complain. Can't complain. I went skiing. I went glade skiing. Went tree skiing. Didn't even have to buy a lift ticket. Back at the parking lot. Good spot. Glad that the snow didn't stink. There's the kiosk. See what the kiosk says. Welcome. Howdy. This is Dave Hyde, and you're watching Dave Hyde Outside. And you just watched me ski down Temple Mountain in Temple, New Hampshire. This was a cool spot. There was a friendly vibe there. I had some nice conversations in the parking lot. Some guy talking about touring and asking about my setup, and bumped into some folks. This was a lot easier than that Wachusett trip. The Wachusett trip was much longer skin, and I was sore for like 3 or 4 days after that trip. I'm definitely still getting my ski legs here, even though it's the end of February. So I would totally go back to that place. That glade run was really cool. That's the exact kind of stuff that I enjoy doing. I really did stop at a ton of places and drove a ton. Again, I really didn't care how much I was driving. I've found during the pandemic that I don't mind driving long distances anymore. A lot of us are not driving to and from work every day or to friends' places. Of course, at the end of the day, it felt like a little much, but it's okay. So I did go to the Hooksett Rest area, where if you haven't been to that cider donut shack, you have to go. I'm a huge donut fan. They open at 7 a.m. I happen to be there at 7:04 a.m. and you can actually get hot donuts. It's pretty amazing. So then I went to the place that I was planning on going, which is a former ski area called King Ridge. And now on maps it's known as Kings Hill. I thought that you could drive down a road and park, but the road was not plowed, so you just couldn't get in there. I think maybe during the summer you can drive in there, but not during the winter. The other side of it is owned by a telecom company because there's a cell phone tower at the top. Couldn't get in that way. Total bust. I thought about buying a lift ticket, and I actually drove to Mount Sunapee. And what I didn't realize going into this week was that it was New Hampshire school vacation week. So I realized that actually the day or two before my trip, and I said, oh man, it's going to be a bummer on the slopes. I really wanted to go during a weekday where there was no one there. It was not the case. I got in the parking lot and I was just like, I don't want to do this. So I actually drove by Granite Gorge too, which is a ski area that was closed this winter. But there were signs saying that if this place is closed, you're not supposed to ski here. I thought maybe I could tour up it, but no dice. And then Temple Mountain was a ski area from 1937 to 2001. So those trees that you saw in that glade, I don't know if they actually look like they might be 20-year-old trees. Some of the tools I used before this trips were Google Maps. I used the different layers, the default layer, the to look at roads and you know how you drive there, where you park. Also the terrain map to understand, okay, I'm going to be at 1,800 feet elevation. The snow will probably be better there than if I was at 1,200 foot elevation. And to just look at the overlays in terms of, okay, I think that the run's going to be here. And then also the satellite view. Again, you can sort of see where did the ski run used to be, what looks like a parking area, that kind of thing. The last thing I use is actually GIS property maps. So you can see, okay, what's the parcel? What's the owner? In northern New England, the property rights are pretty fluid, especially in places like Maine. It's considered that if land is not posted, if you don't see a sign that says no fishing, no hunting, no trespassing, private property, whatever. If you don't see a sign like that, you can hang out there and you don't have to really worry who owns it. But still, especially in some of these crowded areas, I like to look at the property map beforehand and just get an idea. The GIS tools are a little funky to use, but it's been something I've used recently. And then I also just did some Google searches. I try to look at local conservation organizations. Oftentimes they have some of the best information. Okay, cool. We are looking at Map My Tracks. This is an iPhone app that I've been using since 2013, and I've used it for kayaking and running and road biking. Being on the water, it's actually very helpful. For example, if you're at low tide and you don't remember how you got back through a certain inlet or through some sandbars, you can look at how you got there and on the way back follow that, and it's actually saved my butt before. You can see here it was 1 2/3 miles. It's actually following me right now. I am going uphill. If we actually bring it along here, you'll see me go uphill. So this is the route that I took, and I was just following other people's tracks on the way up. It's looking at OpenStreetMap. I've used it before when I'm looking at trails because it's crowdsourced, and so there's some interesting information here. It's easier to look at in some respects than Google Maps. I actually like the terrain lines here. Cool things that we can look at here are my route, first of all, so I'll accelerate us along. You can see I went up this way, I went up here, and then I said, okay, cool, let's go down a different way, and there I went. My elevation gain, or I guess they call it ascent, and was about 500 plus feet, which is pretty good considering that the ski area's total vertical was about 600 feet back in the day when it was a ski area. So I feel like I got my money's worth. And I like how it has temperature and that kind of thing. So that's the route I did. In terms of where I actually was, you can see I was down here, I guess, outside of, well, it's actually close to Mount Monadnock. So there's Mount Monadnock, so sort of due east of Mount Monadnock. And the drive that I did that day, starting in Boston, up 93 to Hooksett, out 89, here's Sunapee. That's where I ended up. I messed around there. Granite Gorge is somewhere down here. Temple Mountain, and then I actually stopped at a fly shop, Bass Pro Shops, and then made my way back home.